So we get to bring you a special video today, the ancient city of Aphrodisia. We didn't know if we were going to make this trip, but we were up near Hierapolis, and this is about an hour, 15 minutes from Hierapolis, Pumacali. Definitely worth your time. The roads are fantastic, unless it's heavy raining and fog, which it was because it's kind of cold right now. That's why we have the wintry looking gear on. Pretty good though. It's 11 Celsius, so not bad. But we're going to get in here into the museum and spend a couple hours here and see some cool stuff. So let's go see what we got. Aphrodisia is a very special place where many skilled statue developers and sculptors were trained, and we can see there's cats and dogs everywhere. Some really interesting sarcophagus. Yeah, looks like a guy laying. I'm sure we're going to see some incredible sculpting. We said the white and blue marble is phenomenal. There's a lot of sarcophagi here. This is the most sarcophagi I've actually seen out. Usually they're spread out, but they were brought here. Pretty amazing stuff. You'll see a lot of Medusa heads, bulls. Again, this is Greek first in the 3rd century. Uh-oh, why does the museum look closed? Maybe we go up and around. Well, apparently the museum is closed today. Glad we didn't come just for that. But the outside is definitely open. And you would think this is a cemetery, but it's just a place where the sarcophagi are. Some are smaller, some are very big. Always intrigued by the sarcophagi, the amount of artwork and the time that went into them. And I gotta imagine there's some inside that are absolutely amazing that we've seen in some of the other museums. You can see Medusa's head. Well, at least there's a museum shop if the museum's closed. You can tell this is a very popular place probably when it's warmer and in season. Like when we like to get to the places out of season when it's not crowded. We can actually see things without thousands of people standing in the way. Right? Yeah, coming out of season has its cons, which is things aren't always the way they would be. Books and galleries open. I'm probably go in here and look. You could see maybe Hadrian, Augustus, Caesar. There's some good stuff coming up. Let's see. This is called the Mask and Garland Frieze. So, should I freeze next to one of the friezes? Just think, these things were made probably 1,800 years ago, and we're up on top of the columns in the arena that we're going to see in a little while, or at least in the video that's connected to this short. So, see you there. Here we have those spiral cuts. We haven't seen these in a bit. Very unique area down here. It's a house foundation. And you can see how much dirt is up on top of this. They started excavating this site in 1960 after it was abandoned for probably 400 or 500 years-ish. And again, depending. So there's quite a bit more to uncover. Storage areas are some of the coolest areas because that's where all that neat stuff's still hiding. And tell me if you saw the squirrel climbing down that piece of equipment. It's the first squirrel I've seen in Turkey, actually. When I look at sculptures like this, I wonder, who are you? Who is this guy? Who was he? What was his importance to be permanently etched into granite? I wonder what his name was and what he did day by day. What do you think? This is impressive. Just walking down a walkway, you're looking at all the runes and all the reliefs, thinking of history here, and all of a sudden you have that out in the middle of the field. That is impressive. Supposedly this is one of the most photographed relics. It's remade, obviously. Well, not obviously, but it's a recreation of what was here. But imagine in its heyday of what it looked like. So the restoration of this is impressive. I see spiral cut columns, straight cut columns. But no matter what you see, it's big. And as we get closer, it's going to get bigger. And it's just out here in the middle of a field today. But centuries ago, when it was built, this was probably lower. I'm sure the hill we're walking on was not here. It just filled up over time. This is an impressive site. Very different, very unique, as usual. The cool thing about sites that are partially excavated is you get the mystery involved of what things might have looked like this walkway. Because this, where I'm standing, was probably all under dirt. And it's pretty big. Very, very big. I see artwork that reminds me of Ephesus. Again, we're at a place where the sculptors throughout this region were trained for generations. So what we're seeing is the ground zero of where they were trained. So from here, they might have gone to Ephesus and trained further. But you can see the intricacies and the familiarity of the Ephesus. Some of the other places.
You should do the same.
Wait. So you can see up here the intricate ribbon that I see. This one's been etched out pretty good, but there's the design in between the pillars. You can see the smaller versions of it, but we see this down on the ground quite often. And this maybe is the place that they, again, trained for how to do this stuff. So look what I found. There's more of these emblems. And again, Christians are here too. I don't know if this is a Christian sign. I would assume it's after Greeks. You see one bigger and then a small one. And then there's some over here. I doubt it was kids just going around doing graffiti. There's a square. I'm not seeing a square like that. You can see the absolute intricate etchings in here. And again, this is restored. Just the pieces, parts they found. But I just gotta imagine, as always, that this was just absolutely amazing when it was built. Here's just a nice grass field. All kinds of sculptures. Imagine being here, just the tapping. Thousands, hundreds of students and their teachers practicing their trades crafts for 200, 300, 400 years and just keep improving until they end up with something amazing and beautiful that was then sent throughout the Mediterranean. And always make sure just to check out little details if you're that kind of person. Some people just like the cool big stuff like that, and then there's those that like everything from big to little to just, okay, we've seen this before. What do you think? Do you think this is new or is it old? I gotta think somebody did that in the last 60 years, or it's the total fluke. The cool thing about these ancient sites is you never know what you're going to find. You go from this column here to this piece, this precipice maybe, the crown of a building. You see the big structure, and then check this out. It's a happy face, or at least it looks like it. Is that planned, or is this graffiti? Or is it something completely different, like a vase? If we look carefully, you can see it, but it looks like a happy face from far off and from the right angle. See? This place is pretty amazing. All right, so your modern brain sees something, and then you try to use your imagination and go back in time 1,800 years or more. You see the big stuff, but it's the interesting details that are hard to see because you're so amazed at all this stuff. How high up are we above the original foundations and the bases? And off to the left, you can kind of get an idea. This is easily 2 meters down, maybe 3 meters down to the next foundation. So I'm thinking what we're walking on has been built up over time, whether it's the last 60 years or 600 years. But you can see all this, how it's just up, because again, over time things get buried and you forget to think about that. And I wonder what's under these mounds.